Well, Congress comes back into session this week, and there's plenty of attention. Well, surely there's going to be a lot of attention on the first meeting of the Deficit Super Committee this Thursday. Pennsylvania Democratic Senator Bob Casey, chairman of the Joint Economic Committee, joins us right now. Your colleague from Pennsylvania, Pat Toomey, the Republican, is now on that Super Committee. How hopeful are you, Senator, that we're going to have a real statement of action by Congress in this Super Committee on cutting the debt over time?
Oh, Chris, I'm reasonably confident because maybe if only because we have to do it. We've got to continue to have a plan to cut spending, reduce deficit and debt. At the same time, though, almost on a parallel track, we've got to be focused on job creation. That's essential, and we've got to have a bipartisan agreement on both, but I think we can get there.
Let's talk about what everybody's talking about, the 9.1% unemployment rate, the drop in the stock market again today because of that, and the president's speech on Thursday. What would be to you a concrete proposal by the president?
Well, I know he's got a couple that he'll likely propose. He's talked about them publicly, and maybe there's some others as well. But certainly a payroll tax cut would be a good idea. I'd favor that. I would hope he'd adopt some of my ideas that I think will have a short-term and positive impact on jobs. A life sciences tax credit, which would help so many regions of the country that invest in medical research and create a lot of jobs with that, and also bring back foreign earnings, bring back jobs from overseas. I think another idea I have is a quarterly cut. If you increase your payroll, you can get a 20% tax credit quarter by quarter. So ideas like that, I think, that have not only meet a two-part test. They will create jobs for sure, but they also have bipartisan support. I hope he would do that in addition to an infrastructure bill as well as others. So I think there are a lot of good ideas, Chris, and the key thing is getting bipartisan consensus so we can vote. I would hope we could vote on one or two ideas every week, so cumulatively over the next couple of weeks and months you'd have a whole package of good ideas that are moving and creating jobs.
How does he get Speaker Boehner to schedule his bills? You have the Republican Party that's hoping to defeat him next year. Why would they schedule a vote on any of his measures if they want to defeat him?
Well, that's a good question, Chris, because they've made it very clear that they, on their side, Mitch McConnell, as you know, said the same thing, basically. But look, both sides, no matter what kind of a state you represent, what kind of congressional district you represent, there are two messages people have been giving all of us. One is do something to create jobs very quickly, and two, get along and work something out. So if you're a legislator in the House or the Senate and you're not working on both of those, you're going to be in trouble. And so I think you ignore those pleadings from the American people at your own political peril. We're all in the same boat. Yeah. The frustration with Washington is bipartisan. So we've got to be creating jobs and along the way working stuff out and stop the finger pointing and the whining and the demonizing that goes on in Washington.
You just got back from the Afghanistan-Pakistan region. Do you think the president was right in surging troops in Afghanistan?
I think he was, Chris, and we're seeing evidence of the success of our military. You can see it in the news reports. You don't have to be there to see it, but I saw it firsthand and got a lot of good briefings that indicate what I had already believed to be true. But we still have tremendous challenges there. The Afghan government still has a long way to go on corruption or anti-corruption measures, building a judiciary that's stronger and more reliable that people can depend upon for the rule of law. So there's a long way to go, but I think I think we've seen good results, at least on the military part of the surge, but we still have a long way to go.
Do we know where Al-Qaeda is headquartered now? What country it's in?
Well, Chris, I'm not sure that there's one place, but certainly in Yemen, certainly the southern part of Yemen, there's a real presence there. And even if the Al-Qaeda numbers are way down, even if you could count the numbers, and some people say the numbers in a place like Afghanistan are very small, they have inspired other movements and other terrorist organizations. So the basic problem we have is even if we're going to extinguish Al-Qaeda, which I think ultimately we can, we still have so many other terrorist elements out there, networks, that a lot of them have their origin or get support from or have their strength from Pakistan. That's why I spent a lot of time there, particularly to urge the Pakistani government to help us on ammonium nitrate. The fertilizer that comes in from Pakistan to Afghanistan is blowing up our troops, either killing them or grievously wounding them. So we pushed really hard on the Pakistani government to help us with that. They got a plan. They're beginning to implement it. So we'll see how they do, and that's going to help one way or the other our relationship, which I still think is on kind of a precarious basis right now.
Senator Bob Casey, Pennsylvania member of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. Sir, thanks for joining us.